Good morning, students. Last class we already discussing about the reflex arc. Last class we already discussing about that is the reflex arc. Today we are going to discussing about that is sensory organs. Sensory organs. In our body consists of 5 sensory organs. What is the first sensory organ? Eye. The second sensory organ, ear. The third sensory organ, nose. The fourth sensory organ, tongue. The fifth sensory organ, skin. According to, in our textbook, they are given in the detailed manner. We are discussing about the 2 sensory organs. What is the first sensory organ? Human eye. What is the name? We have eye. Okay. That is the first we are discussing about the human eye. The second sensory organ, ear. Okay, in these the two sensory organ they given in the detailed manner, the structure of the human eye, the mechanism of the human eye, vision mechanism, and also how this images pass into how they will travel into the one part of the eye to the other parts of how they will travel into the inside the brain. And the second one is known as the ear, the structure of the human ear, and also the mechanism of the sound, how the ear is received from the surrounding to the inside the brain. Today we are going to discussing about the structure of human eye. Structure of human eye. Today we are going to discussing about structure of human eye. 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 In this chapter, the 2 sensory organs they are given according to our textbook. They are given the detailed manner about the structure of the human eye. You have one pair of the eyes. How many pair of the eyes? One pair of them. One is present in the right side, one is present in the left side. We have one pair of the eye. We have one pair of eye. One pair of eyes. One pair of eyes. One pair of eyes means 2 eyes. One pair of eyes means 2 eyes. One is present on the right side, one is present on the left side. The eye is located in the orbit of the socket. The eyes are located in the socket of the orbit. The eyes are located. Socket. Okay, the eyes are located socket. The eyes are located in the orbit of the socket. Each eye is protected by the in our eyes. Eyes are protected by the eyelashes, eyelids, upper eyelid, lower eyelid. Okay, these all are protected by the in our eyes. And also the ear, the anterior part of the eyes. See here, the anterior part of the eye. This ear consists of inside this part consists of lacrimal glands. The lacrimal glands produce tears at the time of the emotion. Once you can feel any emotions, the lacrimal glands produce tears. The lacrimal ducts present located inside this part. Okay, inside this part it consists of lacrimal glands. These lacrimal glands produce tears. Lacrimal glands produce tears. These tears are helpful for the cleaning of the eye. The lacrimal glands produce tears. Lacrimal glands produce tears. The tears are helpful for the cleaning of the dust particle, cleaning of the in our eyes. How many? That if you observe the human eye, that one pair of the eyes are present. The next one it is located in the socket of the orbit. The next one, the lacrimal glands, they will produce tears. These lacrimal glands secrete tears. These tears are helpful for the cleaning of the eye. If you observe the structure of the human eye, what is the structure of the human eye? What are the parts exist in the ear? What are the parts that exist in the human eye? Okay, coming to the structure of human eye. Coming to the structure of human eye. The main parts of the structure of the human eye. If you observe the structure of human eye, 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 if you rather, and I have to represent here the structure of human eye, the diagrammatic representation. After that, you can understand easy manner what are the parts that exist in the human eye. See here. Structure of human eye. If you observe the structure of human eye, okay, the human eye, the wall of the human eye, it is consist of 3 layers. The human eye is protected by the 3 layers. If you observe the, for example, lungs. The lungs are protected by the pleural membrane. The heart is protected by the pericardial membranes. The kidney is protected by the renal capsules. And also the brain is protected by the meninges, outer meninges, middle one, and also inner meninges. In the similar way, the eyes also protected by the 3 layers. The eyes are covered by the 3 layers. If you observe the eye layers, how many layers are protected by the eyes? How many layers are protected by the eyes? How many layers are protected by the eyes? If you observe the eyes, how many layers are protected by the eyes? How many layers are protected by the eyes? Okay, how many layers? The first, you can observe the first layer of the eye. The first layer of the eye. See here, the first layer of the eye. 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 The first layer of the eye is known as a tunica fibrosa. Tunica fibrosa. The first layer of the eye is known as a tunica fibrosa. The first layer of the eye is known as a tunica fibrosa. The second layer of the eye. The second layer of the eye. See here. The second layer of the eye. Tunica pigmentosa. The second layer of the eye. Tunica pigmentosa. The second layer of the eye is a tunica pigmentosa. The second layer of the is known as a tunica pigmentosa. The second layer of the eye is known as a tunica pigmentosa. The tunica pigmentosa. The second layer of the eye is known as a tunica pigmentosa. The third layer of the eye. 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 It is known as a retina. The third layer of the eye is known as a retina. If you observe the first layer, the next layer is known as a tunica pigmentosa. Tunica pigmentosa. Okay. The first layer is known as a, what is the first layer? What is the first layer? It is known as a This layer, it is indicate tunica. Tunica means cover. Tunica fibrosa. Tunica fibrosa. It is made up of collagen fibers. The second layer of the eye. What is the first layer? Tunica fibrosa. What is the second layer? Tunica. It is a tunica pigmentosa. Tunica pigmentosa. Tunica pigmentosa. Tunica pigmentosa is the second layer. The third layer of the eye. The third layer of the eye is known as, see here, the third layer of the eye. What is the third layer of the eye? Retina. It is known as a tunica nervosa. Tunica nervosa. Tunica nervosa. Tunica nervosa. The first layer of the eye is known as a tunica fibrosa. The second layer is known as a tunica pigmentosa. The third layer, it is known as a tunica nervosa. Tunica nervosa. The tunica fibrosa. This tunica fibrosa, it is the outer layer of the eye. This outer layer of the eye, it looks like a white in color. Tunica fibrosa. Fibrosa means it is made up of, the tunica fibrosa is made up of collagen fibers. Collagen fibers. The tunica fibrosa, it is made up of collagen fibers. Collagen fibers means white collagen fibers. White collagen fibers. The tunica fibrosa, it looks like it is the white in color. What is the color? White in color. Tunica fibrosa. What is the color of the? If you observe the white in color, see here in our eye, it is white in color. What is the white in color? It is the tunica fibrosa. Tunica fibrosa, it is white in color. Collagen fibers. Okay. No blood vessels. The blood vessels also absent. Okay. It is a avascular and non-vascular. Okay. Coming to the tunica fibrosa. Tunica fibrosa. 5/6 part of the 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 tunica fibrosa. The 5/6 part of the tunica fibrosa is known as the 5/6 part of the tunica fibrosa. It is known as sclera. Sclera means 5/6 part of the tunica fibrosa. The remaining 1/5 part of this entire, this 1/5 part of 1/5 part of this area, 1/5 part of this area indicate cornea. This area indicate cornea. It is the 1/5 part. 1/5 part. 5/6 part. Okay. Out of 6 parts. 5/6 part. It is the 5/6 part. It is the sclera part. The remaining 1/, it is the 6th part. Out of 6 part now, it is the remaining 5/6 part. It is under the category of the, it is the sclera. The remaining tunica fibrosa is known as a cornea. Okay, this part, it is known as a cornea. This part is known as a cornea. This part is known as a cornea. The cornea transplantation, it is 100% successful transplantation. 100% successful transplantation. The main reason is the cornea, it is the avascular. Cornea is the avascular. Avascular means non-vascular. Non-vascular means blood vessels are absent. Whenever the blood vessels are absent, the cornea transplantation is very easy. The main reason is the blood vessels are absent. How they will receive the oxygen? They receive the oxygen directly from the atmosphere. The cornea receive oxygen from the atmosphere directly. This cornea is avascular. Blood vessel is absent. Whenever the blood vessel is absent, they are not receive the oxygen. But this cornea that directly receive oxygen from the atmosphere. directly receive oxygen from the atmosphere. This cornea. That's why the cornea transplantation, it is the 100% successful transplantation. Once the anyone transplantations of the eyes, you can observe not entirely eye is transplanted, only cornea only transplanted. Only cornea only transplanted. The main reason is it is the blood vessel is absent. Whenever the blood vessel is absent, you can easily transplantation, 100% successful transplantation. Once the blood vessel is present means you can again the blood, you can identify what is the blood group, you can transplantation that person, you can select the donors, recipient. It is a bit somewhat difficult compared to the, it is once the blood vessel is absent, you can easily transplantation. 100% successful transplantation is very easy. The main reason is blood vessels are absent, but they receive the oxygen from the atmosphere, directly contact with the atmosphere. That is a 1/6 part of the tunica fibrosa. 5/6 part of the tunica fibrosa is known as a sclera. The sclera means white part of the eye. White part of the eye. White part of the eye is known as a white part of the eye is known as a sclera. What is the white part? No, sclera. Coming to the second part, it is known as a tunica pigmentosa. Tunica pigmentosa. The pigmenta means it is consists of pigments means melanin pigment here. It is consists of melanin pigment. What is the pigment? Melanin pigment. What is the pigment? Melanin pigment. It is a black in color. Melanin pigment. It is consist of blood vessel. It is consist of blood vessel. That's why the tunica pigmentosa. This tunica pigmentosa are also known as a choroid layer. What is the second part of the eye? What is the first one? Sclera. The second one, choroid. What is the second one? Choroid. Choroid means it is consist of blood vessel. It is consist of blood vessel. Okay. It is the tunica pigmentosa means consist of melanin pigment. What is the function of the melanin pigment? It receives extra light. It receives extra light. It receives extra light. It receives the extra light. Okay, it receives the, for example, the light is directly pass into the this cornea to directly pass into the pupil to the, then they will enter. Okay, one extra light they receive. What is the function of the melanin pigmentosa, tunica pigmentosa? They receive extra light. They receive the extra light. Coming to the next one, the third part of the eye is known as that is tunica nervosa. Tunica nervosa. The tunica nervosa means this tunica nervosa consists of number of neurons, ganglia, bipolar neurons, rod cells, cone cells. These all cells are present in the tunica nervosa. Tunica nervosa. This tunica nervosa is also the third part of the nervosa is known as a retina. What is the part? Retina. What is the part? Retina. The third part of the eye is known as a retina. The third part of the eye is known as a retina. If you observe the color part of the eye, what is the color part of the eye? The color part of the eye is known as a, the color part of the eye is known as, the color part of the eye is known as a iris. The color part of the eye is known as a iris. Color part of the eye is known as a, the color part of the is known as a color part. Okay, someone black color, green color, a red color, blue color, because of the color part of the iris. The color part of the is known as a iris. The color part of the eye is known as a iris. Okay, between the two iris, what is the name? Pupil. What is the name? Pupil is the pupil. There's a part of pupil. This entire part is known as a pupil. Okay, pupil. The whole of the pupil, the whole of the iris is known as a pupil. Okay, the main function of the iris, it is the controlling of the increasing and decreasing size of the pupil. That is increasing and decreasing of the pupil size. Okay, and also it is observed for the color part of the eye. If you observe the pupil, okay, in our body eye consists of lenses. What is the name? Lenses. Okay, lenses. See here. Okay, lenses. No, lenses. lens. What is known as lens? Okay. This lens is, the lens is attached by the lenses are attached by the lenses are attached by the lenses are attached with the help of suspensory ligament. Suspensory ligament. Suspensory ligament. The lungs are holding with the help of suspensory ligament. The lungs is holding by the suspensory ligament. Suspensory ligaments. Okay. Coming to the next one. This, okay, the ciliary muscles. The secondly is known as the ciliary muscles. Okay, the ciliary muscles. The ciliary muscles. The ciliary muscles. They are helpful for the ciliary process. Ciliary muscles. Ciliary muscles. They are helpful for the ciliary process. The ciliary process, okay, again they are originated from the iris. Ciliary process. The second one is known as the ciliary process. Okay, coming to the here. The anterior portion, the anterior part of the anterior part of this eye part. This anterior part of this eye is consist of aqueous chamber. What is a chamber? Aqueous chamber. Aqueous chamber. What is it known? Aqueous chamber. Aqueous chamber means it is filled with water. Chamber human. Aqueous human. Human means water. It is filled with water. Aqueous chamber. It is anterior. Posterior. The posterior chamber of the eye is known as the vitreous chamber. Vitreous chamber. The vitreous chamber, it looks like a jelly-like material. In our eye consists of two chambers. The first chamber, that is the anterior part of the chamber, is known as the aqueous chamber. Aqueous means it is a water molecule. It contains, that is the lacrimal glands. The lacrimal glands produce tears. These tears produce, it looks like a water liquid. Okay. The posterior part of the eye is known as a vitreous chamber. The posterior part of the eye is known as a vitreous chamber. Vitreous chamber means jelly-like material. Jelly-like material. Okay, jelly-like material. Once we are wake up in the morning time, when we are wake up in the morning time, some jelly-like materials, like in the form of the present here latter is a part of the ice because of vitreous chamber. The two chambers are present in the aqueous chamber and vitreous chamber. Aqueous chambers and vitreous chamber. Okay. Coming to the next one. The thin portion of the eye is known as conjunctiva. The transparent portion of the eye is known as a conjunctiva. The conjunctiva. What is the portion? The thin transparent portion is known as a conjunctiva. This conjunctiva is protected by the upper lips and is the lower lip. It is the upper lip. It is the upper lip and lower lip. It is the aqueous chamber. These are all of the aqueous chamber. It is the vitreous chamber. It is the vitreous chamber. It is water in form. It is the form of jelly-like material. If you observe the posterior chamber, above the, see here, if you observe above the pupil, above the posterior surface, above the posterior surface, this consists of the small depression. The posterior surface is known as a yellow spot. This yellow spot, it is known as a macula densa. Okay, yellow spot is known as a macula densa. This small depression, the small depression of the yellow spot, the small depression of the yellow spot is known as a, okay, it is a macula densa. Okay, it is a yellow spot. It is known as a macula densa. Macula densa. This yellow spot, okay, this yellow spot, this consists of only cones. Only cones. It is only consists of only cones. Okay. Below the, see here, it is the posterior part, it is the anterior. Below the yellow spot, below the yellow spot is consist of, below the yellow spot, this area below the yellow spot is consist of blind spot. Blind spot means no cones, no rod cells. Cones absent, rods absent. The both cells absent. But it is the, what is the blind spot? Blind spot means no vision. Yellow spot means it is the perfect vision. They are helpful for the perfect vision. But here, no vision. The blind spot, no vision. Because cone cells, red cells are absent. In the blind spot, the neurons are exited. Outside. These neurons are nothing but optic nerves. If you observe the blind spot, the neurons are exit. Okay. The blood vessels are enter. What is in the blind spot? Blind spot means neurons exist. Okay, these neurons, it is connected to the brain. This optic nerves connected to the brain. Okay, exists to the nerves, and the blood vessels are entered. Blood vessels enter into the eye through the blind spot. Okay, through the blind spot. If you travel any image, for example, here placed any image, the first image is passed into the conjunctiva. After they pass into the next place is known as a cornea. Cornea to aqueous chamber to iris to this one, pupil to lenses to, again they pass into the information, pass into the, it is yellow spot to the brain. For example, any image pass into the reflected to the eyes. The first eyes receive the first part, it is known as a conjunctiva. That is a transparent part present in the outer surface of the eye, conjunctiva. After that, the image pass into the cornea. After the pass into the aqueous chambers, that is next one, iris. The next pass into the lenses. The next pass into the yellow spot. Yellow spot. It is the structure of human eye. The human eye consists of, what are the parts? What is the layers? The tunica. Tunica means covering. Tunica means covering. What is the first part? Tunica fibrosa. Fibrosa means collagen fibers, white in color. If you observe in our human eye, okay, see here, for example, is your eye. Okay, they consist of lenses. Okay, this part sclera. This part, sclera, whitened part, white color part is in our eyes known as sclera. Okay, this area, nictating membrane, nictating membrane, nictating membrane. Nictating membrane means it is a vestigial organ. It is a non-functioning organ. It is a functioning of the fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, cleaning of the eye, removal of the dust particles, to protect it from the water, to protect from the any mud material. For example, any frog, they reaches into the inside the, any mud. Okay, the mud is not enter into the eyes because of the nictating membrane present in the frog. It is a functioning in the frogs and fishes. Reptiles, birds. It is a nictating membrane present here. See here, the nictating membrane present here. Okay, the nictating membrane present here. But it is a non-function. It is a non-function, rudimentary function. It is a vestigial organ present but non-functioning. Okay, that is nothing but in our third eyelid. First eyelid, second eyelid, third eyelids also present in our body. What is the third eyelid? Nictating membrane. It is a non-function. Okay, this part, this color part is known as this color part, it is indicate iris. This color part indicate iris. This iris, it is controlled by the whole of the iris. This whole of the iris is known as pupil. The whole of the iris is known as a pupil. It is the iris, the color part iris. The whole of the iris. The whole of the iris is known as a pupil. It is the whole of the iris. Whole of the iris. Whole of the iris is known as a pupil. The pupil is controlled by the size of the pupil. Size of the pupil. Iris is controlled by the size of the pupil. Iris is regulated by the iris is regulated by the pupil. Regulated by the pupil. For example, the pupil is size is large. The pupil is less. For example, pupil is more because of the iris is relaxation. Whenever the iris is is a contraction and relaxation. Whenever the contraction relaxation, it is regulated by the pupil size. The color part of the eye is known as the iris. The whole of the eye is known as a pupil. The white color part of the eye is known as a sclera. Okay, the lateral side of the eye is known as the nictating membrane. The eye is consists of three important parts. The first part, tunica fibrosa. The second part, tunica pigmentosa. The third important part, tunica nervosa. The tunica fibrosa means collagen fibers. Tunica pigmentosa means consists of melanin pigment. It receives the extra light. Next one, it is made up of, it consists of blood vessels. The first part, tunica fibrosa. The 5/6 part of the tunica fibrosa, it is known as a sclera, is the white part. 1/6 part of the tunica fibrosa, it is known as a cornea. It is known as a cornea. Okay, the cornea transplantation can easily 100% successful transplantation at the time of the transplantations of the eyes. The main reason is the cornea is avascular, means non-vascular. Non-vascular means blood vessels are absent. Whenever the blood vessels are absent, the transplantation successfully can easily transplant one person to the other person. We are at the time of the transplantation of the eyes, not entire eyes are there, not transplantation. Only outer layer of the sclera, that is the 1/6 part of the cornea, they can easily transplantation. Again, it is the cornea they receive directly from the atmosphere they receive the oxygen from the atmosphere. Okay, coming to the next, the third part, it is known as tunica nervosa. Nervosa means it consists of neurons. It consists of bipolar neurons. Bipolar neuron. The bipolar neuron means bipolar. It is a dendrite cell. One axon, one dendrite present in the eyes as well as olfactory nose. Okay. Coming to the nervosa, it consists of rod cells and cone cells. This consists of two important cells. One is the rod cells, one is the cone cells. The third one, what is the first part? Sclera. Second part, choroid. Third part, retina. Retina consists of cone cells, rod cells, as well. The cone cells, retina consists of rod cells as well as cone cells. The rod cells are helpful for the observe the image at the time of the night time. Cone cells are helpful for the daytime. They are helpful for the daytime. If the eyes consists of two types of the chambers. The first, anterior chamber, aqueous chamber. The posterior chamber, vitreous chamber. aqueous chamber means it consists of water, the liquid color. The vitreous chamber means jelly-like material. Jelly-like material. This indicate lens. The lens are supported by with the help of the lens are supported by the suspensory ligaments. Suspensory ligaments. These suspensory ligaments they are arranged from it is the ciliary process. The ciliary process with the help of ciliary muscles. The ciliary muscles are there supporting of the lenses. Again, the ciliary muscle, the formation of the iris. The color part of the eye is known as the iris. So the between the iris is consist of pupil. Okay, the iris is regulated by the pupil. The thin membrane of the transparent membrane of the outside of the eye is known as a conjunctiva. For example, sometimes our eyes look like a red in color. The main reason is it is inflammation of the viral inflammation of the virus infected to the conjunctiva. Once the virus is infected to the conjunctiva, our eyes looks like sometimes it is a conjunctivitis. What is the conjunctiva means? Viral infection. Viral infection means conjunctivitis. Conjunctivitis. Itis means inflammation. Inflammation means redness of the eye, pain of the eye. More heat is produced to the eyes. Okay. It is once any image pass into the eye, outside to the inside. The first they pass into the conjunctiva. After then they pass into it is a cornea. Cornea to it is a humerus chamber. That is a pupil, iris. Next one, aqueous chambers, lens. Next one, then they pass into the yellow spot. It is consist of two types of spot. First spot, yellow spot. Next one, blind spot. Yellow spot means it is a macula densa. This macula densa only consists of cone cells. The small depression of the macula densa. The small depression of the macula densa, it is known as the small depression of the macula densa. It is known as a fovea centralis. What is a centralis? Fovea centralis. It is a small depression of the yellow spot. It is known as fovea centralis. It is only consists of cone cells. The cone cells, it is a perfect vision. Below the cone cells, below the yellow spot, they consist of other spot, blind spot. Blind spot means cone cells and rod cells are absent. That's what they indicate blind spot. But the blind spot, the neurons that exist on the blind spot, that is the neurons, optic neurons are connected to the brain, and the blood vessels are enter into the eyes. It is a structure of human eye. Any image pass into the outside to the inside. How they pass into the outside to the inside? Conjunctiva to they directly pass into the yellow spot. Yellow spot connected to the optic neurons. Optic neurons connected to the brain. They will analyze this image. Thank you very much.